everybody. Welcome to the InPsight Show. I am your host, Danielle Egnew, and you are a fly on the wall to everywhere. Hi, you guys. Hey, I really wanted to thank you for being patient. I know we've been behind in a number of podcasts. We moved the studio, as I mentioned, at the end of last year, and the brand new production studio is beautiful. It's just taken a minute to get it finished with the sheetrock and the insulation, the proper kind of sound editing, everything, the sound, editing your acoustic spaces. So I'm sitting here with my guest in our studio, which currently has about 9 bags of R21 rock wool insulation that are going to be dealing with our sound bleed issues. And I want to introduce the guest today because you've heard this guest in the studio before. I'm actually really excited to have her back again. And the guest is Rebecca Douglas. Now, you would know her, some of you, as being my wife, but she's also her own person with a very full life and accomplishments that are all on her own. One of the many being that she is a fitness pro and nutrition pro of 12 years. At one time, Rebecca had her own studio, actually, with multiple locations. And so she's got certifications in all of the health goodies, not only physical health, but nutritional health, as well as mind, body, spirit ways of dealing with hard issues. And I'm having Rebecca on the show today because, as you all know, I have launched the Rocky Mountain Academy of Energetic Arts online. I launched it last year, and I got to say, you guys have been doing a wonderful job taking advantage of the resources we've had there. And I wanted to reintroduce you all to Rebecca because Rebecca and I are going to be teaching a class together at RMAEA. God, it's so hard to say. Rocky Mountain Academy of Energetic Arts. That is Managing the Midlife Conundrum. We're going to get into what that is. And actually, it's good whether you're in midlife or not. It's excellent. But I would like, before I get Rebecca on the mic here, I would just like to point out that this year, the Academy lost a very dear family member of ours and family, one of my very, very best soul sister friends, whatever you want to call it. She's been on the show before. Holly Shaver, who had championed a battle for 7 years with stage 4 cancer that they told her she was going to be dead in a year of. She changed her nutrition. She changed her mindset, and really had driven the cancer back to the point where they couldn't even see it on the PET scan anymore. And then she lost her husband 3 years ago to a brain tumor. And that kind of, as it would any of us, kind of knocked her off the horse of being able to stay so focused on that energy journey. And so this past November in 2024, Holly passed away. And she went to spend time with her wonderful husband. And Holly was actually heading up our body sciences division at the Academy. And Holly is, of course, gone on to the Party Barge in the Sky. And now she's playing music with Prince and, my God, Freddie Mercury. And now she really knows I'm not quite as talented as she thought I was, because now she's working with all these guys musically on the other side. I talk to Holly all the time on the other side. So we're still in active communication. But I'm explaining all of this because Rebecca is going to be stepping up as our department chair for the Rocky Mountain Academy of Energetic Arts in the Body Sciences program. And I'm so excited to have her because she is extraordinary at what she does. So I would like to welcome back to the studio, Rebecca.
Hey, guys.
And you remember that voice, right? Yes, of course. She's amazing. And Rebecca, I pulled you on today not only to talk about the class that we have coming up, but you and I have had a ton of conversations about how stressful these times are and what that means for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And so, a lot of my people coming to me are asking me, what can they do for their mental health, their body health, their nutritional health? And so I wanted to bring you on today because I wanted to ask you, I'm going to start firing some questions off to you. And you're also a mass. Hit me with your best shot. Okay. We are not the Pat Benetar tribute band, clearly. However, when I'm going to take it back a little bit because you're a giant empath And people may not know that about you.
Very much so, yes.
And how do you think that played into, as an empath, how did that play into you helping your clients as far as your lens that you placed on your clients?
Well, as you know, empaths feel things.
Oh, yeah.
All around them. I was around my people and they would come to me for advice and help and guidance, and I just kind of naturally tapped into what they were feeling. I mean, I felt their frustrations. I could feel the desperation to be healthy and to grow old, not just gracefully, but functionally.
Right.
And
right.
I could just feel that on them. And that's just, I guess, the nature of being an empath. So,
well, it is.
I mean, you tell me, you've always told me that, I mean, that's one of my greatest gifts, especially when I apply it to helping people.
So you would feel people.
Yeah.
And it would lead you to suggesting different courses of action for them?
Yes.
Is that what I'm understanding?
For the individual. So, I mean, there was always bigger picture lessons to be taught to a group, but there's always the more, what do you call it? The fine tuning for the individual, because everybody is different and we all need different things. And what works for me doesn't work for you. What works for you may not work for, the girl next door. What works for her may not work for me. But what works for that person is what they need.
So what I'm hearing you say is pretty much like everybody's got to really do some work right now, it sounds like, to figure out what works for them.
Yeah, well, and not just right now, but always and forever, It's,
in general.
In general, absolutely. I mean, you've heard me rant about, how blanketed the messaging from fitness and nutrition people online are, and it's not a one-size-fits-all, one-stop shop type of thing, because when I hear a 20-year-old telling a 50-year-old how they should be working out, I'm like, I call BS on it. Absolutely.
And why though? Why do you call BS on it?
Because a 20-year-old has not gone through what a 50-year-old has gone through.
Now, do you mean, okay, so I'm just going to pause you there for a minute. So we're going to have some listeners going, wow, that's ageist.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's ageist saying that a 50-year-old person knows more than a 20-year-old person. But I kind of have a feeling like you're not really talking about knowing more than. You're talking about, like, are you talking about body process, spiritual process?
I'm talking about all of it. I'm a firm believer that somebody needs to go through stuff and have some experience to be able to teach what they're teaching. Alrighty?
Yeah.
And a 20-year-old has not gone through perimenopause.
God, I hope not.
She might have read books about it. Absolutely. I read books about nutrition before I was teaching nutrition, but it was me teaching myself and healing myself. But I wouldn't have dreamed of teaching anything before I went through all of that. And as you know, I went through a bodybuilding process.
Yeah, you did.
And got on stage in a sparkly little tiny itty-bitty green bikini. And
it was actually not green. It was the feathers. It was bedazzled feathers of a peacock.
Horrible. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
I thought it was excellent. I thought it was excellent. You guys, so you have to understand Rebecca's temperament here, okay? So Rebecca's temperament is not the girl who's going to get on a stage in a tiny little up your butt string bikini.
Not even close.
That was so bedazzled, but she went to a bodybuilding competition.
Well, I went through the process to get myself ready to get on stage and compete in a bodybuilding process because I had clients who had asked me to coach them for that specific application. And I said, absolutely not until I go through the process myself.
Okay, so I'm just going to pause you there. Yeah. So just so everybody can catch up, because they may still be living on, Danielle's wife was wearing a little green sparkly bikini.
We'll just take a moment of silence as that kicks in. Oh my God.
So what I'm hearing you say, past remembering the bikini, is that you literally went through the process of professional body sculpting and bodybuilding so that you as a teacher would know what it took before you went out and coached somebody else.
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
Now you guys, I didn't even know that. Actually,
Really?
no, I did not know that.
Okay.
I thought this was, I don't know what I thought. I thought maybe you were just checking this off your list of life goals. You're a Taurus. You're a very driven person. So I didn't even know that. And now that I know that, right in this moment, my jaw is literally on the floor because I remember how hard this was and how painful this was, and how you could only eat like a rice cake for like 25 days or some messed up mea culpa crap you were doing at that time.
It was pretty intense and it took me probably two years of solid work to get to a point where I can get on stage.
Yeah. And then your coach was terrible. The coach that you had.
He ended up being very bad.
He was a very bad coach and was very interested in all the young ladies who were like 21 and you weren't 21.
No, I was in my late 40s.
And you were late 40s and you were married to a woman. So that was far less interesting for this particular coach. And so you basically got abandoned by your coach.
Yeah.
I remember
At
that.
the end,
And he put you in a category that you shouldn't have been in.
Nope.
And he didn't care. You were like his throwaway client because he wasn't hot after you. That was the flat up. Well, it's true. It's true. And then we came to find out later that that's kind of how this coach rolled. And we were like, well, God, we would have picked a different guy. He was batting out the wrong park to begin with you. But so I guess the thing that's important there, though, is that before you taught it, you had to experience it.
Exactly.
I did not know that.
Exactly. So that's why I always say, and I'm not being ageist. I mean, I was 20 before, but I would never have dreamt to teach a 50-something-year-old woman about perimenopause in my 20s. No, thank you. Like, I mean,
there's some say perimenopause in her 20s. Wasn't that a bad word? It's like, oh God, I don't want to.
Not even sure if I knew what it meant back in my 20s.
I don't think I did either. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and I don't want to go too far down that particular rabbit hole during this podcast, but obviously that has to do with our class that we're going to be teaching, which is, of course, managing the midlife conundrum. Yeah. But it goes way beyond perimenopause. If you're a guy listening right now, you're probably like, oh God. So gentlemen, don't turn out of this particular podcast at this time, because what we're talking about for this podcast is whether you're male or female, whether you are or you don't identify as any gender whatsoever. You're just a human, or you identify as a hybrid. If you're in a body right now and it's got a heart that's beating, how's that?
There we go. You are welcome.
You are welcome into this podcast because honestly, one of the things that we're here to talk about is how this time frame is impacting people. Because I mean, it is tremendously difficult, you guys. And I mean, I'll just share something with everybody that I happened to recognize this morning in full transparency. I mean, guys, I'm somebody that is very used to being underneath the weight of severe spiritual duress, or spiritual pressure, just with my job. That's just comes with the job, you guys. Okay. I'm not like, oh, Paul, me. Oh. No. It's just like, hey, if you're a bodybuilder, you're going to have to buy shirts that are way too big for you and cut the armpits out because there's part of that lifestyle that just bleeds over to everything. So it's not poor you that you have to buy wonky clothes. It's that, guess what? It's part of the lifestyle. So for me in this time frame, I have been struggling greatly with the weight of it. And it's not that I can't do my job. I can do my job all day long for everybody else. But, Danielle in her own flesh suit doing her own thing when I'm not in service to someone, there is a great weight to this time frame. And it's universal. And so, Rebecca, something you say to me all the time is, well, I don't feel things the way that you do, or I don't feel them to the depth that you do, which I disagree. But you claim you don't. So I'm going to honor that. And how has this time felt, this timeline, spiritually, mentally, physically, how has it felt to you? Let's take all the hormones out. We're talking the impact of energy through the empathic being. How's it felt to you?
It feels like I'm standing on a balance board.
And what is a balance board?
A balance board is just something that you can stand on to help balance, and it goes side to side and it wobbles, and it just helps you learn how to balance.
Is that one of those things with like a log in the middle, sort of, kind of?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Or there's disc ones where it's like a sphere that. But anyway, it's very unstable, and you have to work really hard to kind of keep your equilibrium. That's what it feels like right now.
And how have you been feeling? Knowing everything you know, and we're going to get into some of this and why it's important in this time frame, why flesh, body, mentality, getting back grounded into the flesh is important in this time frame, and it really is. How would you say that you have managed this wobble?
I have, over the years, a part of my training is to develop habits that keep me grounded.
Yeah.
In good times and in bad. And they're non-negotiables. And I've always coached my clients to have their own non-negotiables. One of mine is at least 4 days a week getting up early to work out. It's non-negotiable. You know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you wake up and you want your cup of coffee and you want to talk to me in the morning, I'm like, nope, I'm working out. Sorry.
Yeah, it's true. That's a true story,
you can come work out with me if you want, but it is non-negotiable.
And that doesn't happen at 6 a.m. for me, so no.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just one of my non-negotiables. It keeps me grounded. It's part of my morning meditation. It's part of keeping me, I guess. And the more me I am, the better I can keep my equilibrium when the rest of the world is so unsure and unsteady.
Do you feel that okay, so when you say workout, and I have a lot of listeners, I can feel you guys, and we are recording this right now in this studio that is still under construction. Boy, is that a giant analogy for our time frame. And I can feel in the future some of you listening to this going, oh my God, is this a fitness podcast? Is this a menopause podcast?
It's not.
No, it's not, guys.
Promise.
However, guys, look, we're in a body, okay? We are in a body. And part of our job is to ground ourselves out. Mm-hmm. So, and not to say that I'm going to ask, Rebecca, I'm not going to ask you to give like people, workout routines or anything like that. No. However, the flesh, what can you tell us as an empath about moving the body and grounding and how that dispels spiritual energy from the physical perspective?
Oh, gosh.
Because we talk about this a lot.
How it happens, it's
not mechanically.
Yeah, I was going to say
I'll get into that, but like
pay grade, that's your thing.
But I mean,
but
there is.
I mean, when you move energy, it flushes things out. It's like an energetic detox. When you work out, the body sweats. That's a physical way of detoxing the body. When you ground yourself, you are. And we need to probably talk about what grounding is and the different things you can do for grounding.
Yep.
But that helps, I guess, detox the energy and bring you in and kind of, how would you describe it?
Well, I mean, I think detoxing is a great way to put it. I also think there are physical ramifications here to being in the body. I mean, our chakras work because our soul is in our body.
Right.
If the minute that we stop grounding, it's called being dead, you guys, then we are out of our body forever until next time. Until next time, smile and the little ting, the little shine on the tooth there. So grounding is very important because, and you brought up a more important point, I think even, the ritual of
exactly
grounding, meditation, blah.
Right. And any of those can feel overwhelming to somebody who's like, I don't have time for any of that. I mean, you don't have to do a hardcore workout. In fact, I'm learning at nearly 55 that I don't do hardcore workouts anymore. Doesn't mean I stop moving my body, moving the energy, moving the muscles and the blood and breathing heavy and letting my body sweat and do the things that it's meant to be doing. It doesn't mean that I don't sit on my front porch in the warmer weather with my feet in the grass for 5 minutes in the morning while I drink my cup of coffee to ground myself. It doesn't mean that I don't take 5 minutes at some point, even in the car on my way to work, to just center my mind in a way. It doesn't mean that you have to spend a half an hour doing the ohms and sitting quietly. It doesn't mean that you have to go to the gym 6 days a week for 3 hours a day. It doesn't mean any of that. But they are tiny little rituals to just maintain the balance in your body with all aspects, the mind, body, and spirit. And everybody you have to find your own ways of doing that. It's different for everybody. Painting. We were talking about painting earlier today.
Yeah, we were.
I love painting, not because I think I'm a great artist or anything, but it's a form of creativity and a release of ideas and self-expression. And some people may write and journal. I personally can't stand journaling. Oh my God, that was one of the things one of my very first coaches I hired years ago said I must do, and I did it for a while, but I can't stand it. So
yeah,
but everybody has to find their own way of moving all of that.
I like to call it the spiritual physics of the physical is what I like to call it.
All right.
Because we have to pay attention, you guys, to the fact that we're living in this third dimension. This third dimension's getting a little wonky. I don't know if anybody's noticed. It's getting a little weird out here. So with the difficulty and the dissonance and the chaos that is held in our bodies, one of the things that I hear from my clients all the time are, what do I need to do? And Rebecca, I don't know if you know this or not, but people's angels all the time are saying to people, you need to be ritualistic and you need to move your body.
They were saying that? Seriously?
Yes.
Oh,
and
there we go. Okay.
But I mean, it's such a theme. This is why you're on today, because the spiritual physics of the physical involves some really basic stuff. And I'm not suggesting that your life is basic stuff. I'm saying that we forget to bring it down to that basement level. Like right now, we're underground, we're in a studio, we forget to get to that foundational level. And one of the things that I think that people are looking for at this point in time, especially in themselves, is a magic bullet that's going to get them through this time frame.
And I think people for generations, especially women, have been looking for that magic bullet, that magic thing that's going to fix everything. And there really isn't such a thing.
Not anymore.
But you touched on something very important, I think, is getting back to the foundations of things. And that's exactly what we need to do. It's the basics. The thing I've always said, even before I got into fitness and wellness, when I started my career, my adult life as a professional photographer, was simplicity is always best. Simplicity is always best. And I've always said simplicity is my superpower.
That's true.
Yeah. And it's, and so in this time frame, it is super important to go back to the basics, the foundations. And we have to recognize we are a physical being housing a spiritual being that is experiencing the emotional stuff that goes with all of that. And it's a kind of it's pretty messy sometimes.
Oh my God, I just watched above your head like 15 swear words that you just kicked out for this
I know,
podcast.
I
just watched them. I was like, oh, she's kicking them out. Pow, 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 pow. Wow, that was like watching like an old game of Space Invaders. Your brain was like, nope, 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 nope.
It's messy. Let's just say it's really messy. And we can either put our head in the sand and find ourselves in fetal positions, rocking back and forth, trying to convince ourselves that everything's going to be okay, or we can actually get back to the basics, keeping things simple. And I think we're starting to see that in our world a little bit. There's a huge rise in simplicity, living simplicity, downsizing, tiny homes, homesteading, growing your own food. I mean, all of that. And even if you live in the city, there are things you can do to get back to your basics. And that's first, you've got to acknowledge in yourself what your foundation is. My foundation is a creative person.
Yes.
I have to move and I have to create. And if I don't do those two things, I wither away and die, and I lose my balance right away.
Yeah.
And so
that's true.
Yeah. And you're kind of the same thing. You're more, your movement is more the music. Your creative is the painting and the writing and everything. And sometimes they combine. That is what makes that's your foundation.
Yeah, it is. It is my foundation. And so when you're talking building rituals, you guys, when you're talking building your rituals, the angels are talking about building rituals. Rebecca, you literally have a licensed and trained background in the physical, and you're talking about building physical rituals and how important that is. The angels are talking about that. You guys, there's so much going on right now. And some of you may have noticed that I'm doing less, you could call it predictive work or what's to come work. You guys, I have been talking about this exact same time frame. I've been talking about what's going to come down the pike and where we are at since 2012. So I kind of, to a large degree, kind of feel like any more predicting on it is a little bit pointless, quite frankly, because, okay, but the fact of the matter is we are in the portion of, okay, we have cracked the glass, the alarms are going off, the flames are to the ceiling. So how do we navigate this environment? And yeah, there are going to be some things coming up that government folks are going to deal with and courts are going to deal with and all these other things. And that's another podcast. However, we still have to survive in all this. And how many times did you hear this, Rebecca, in your gym, when you owned the gym years ago? How many times did you hear people feel defeated because they couldn't come in 2 weeks be down 25 pant sizes?
Oh, probably 95% of my clients.
Okay. So when you hear this, you guys, we aren't going to go in 2 weeks and undo how the chaos that has hit our system feels, especially considering the planning for that chaos that's now been unleashed on our system has been in the planning for 60 freaking years, you guys. So you're not just going to walk right in and be like, okay, well, I think I'm just going to, in 2 weeks, I'm going to do this thing that Rebecca Douglas said to do, and I'm going to feel better. It's not that. It's about accepting that we must be responsible for our own daily mind, body, spirit
Absolutely.
Rituals
100%.
in order to actually bring any change at all.
Yeah.
And we got to quit waiting for the big magic bullet from the sky or the savior from the sky or the savior in this or that Democratic or Republican Party that's going to save us all. We have to.
Right. We have to save ourselves. And then once you save ourselves, it's just like the airplane, instructions. You put your oh my gosh.
Place the nose on your mask.
Yes, the mask. Yes. Put your mask on first to help so you can better help the person next to you. So we have to focus on ourselves, find our foundations, find what works for us, make those small little consistent rituals so that we can be the best person that we're meant to be, so that we can create a bigger movement in our community, in our neighborhoods, in our state and our world and whatever to so that we can feel like we've got some control in this crazy world right now.
Well, and control is an interesting word because part of the main psyops that are going on right now with this Project 2025 rollout in the government, which I got to laugh every time I see Trump. He just looks like somebody sucked his soul out through his bum with a Hoover vacuum cleaner. He's just this empty shell now, which is what, doing the bidding of really scary people will do to you over time. And one of the things that you bring forward that is so important is that we have got to find how to bring ourselves to a place of maybe not calm, but just center, the plumb line, groundedness.
There we go. That's why you got to start there.
You got to start there. And guys, it's our job, everybody. This is what I hear from the universe. I've been saying, I know you guys probably get so sick and tired of me saying the exact same thing over and over again. But guess what? The universe says the exact same thing to me over and over. So I pass it on. And one of the things I get told over and over again is that we're almost getting the point, but we're not quite. We're almost getting the point of we should begin to take care of one another, the self, one another, our communities, our local garden patch, our local well, make sure that it's, not full of toxins. We are being drawn to be present because 2025 is the year of presence. It's about being present in your body, your mind, and your spirit. Now, I don't know about you, Rebecca, but I was just saying earlier, you guys, it is like a donkey kick to my third eye every dang day. I was just saying this morning,
Yep.
I've been walking around. I feel better today. But I have been feeling like, who split wood out there? Raise your hand. Who split wood into logs, like logs into kindling? When you split wood, you can have a wedge. It's a metal sharp thing on one side and it's flat on the top. And it weighs about, 8 pounds. And you take that wedge and you take a hammer and you kind of stick it into a log and then you start just cramming on it with a sledgehammer. And I have felt like I have had a wedge in my third eye that has been frozen to about 200 degrees below zero, just right into my third eye for a month since January 20th. And today it's a little better. But this sounds like, oh my God, Danielle, that's terrible. Well, yeah, it's been sucking eggs, man. And when I'm reading for other people, I don't notice it because I go around it. It's when I am just in my own skin and my own process. Boy, can I feel it. And if you've ever had like a icy headache, you ever had an icy headache?
Oh, yeah, like a
brain freeze. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like a brain freeze way deep through that pineal gland, all the way in there. And, I had this friend who's kind of, we don't really talk much anymore, but at one time told me and a bunch of other people that you're just not strong enough if you're feeling this low vibration. There's something wrong with you if you're feeling these things. It means that your energy practice isn't pristine enough. It means that you are not distilled enough. And I'm right here, you guys, to tell you that is a steaming, gross, hot, fly-infested, wet pile of horse crap. Okay? I mean, it's a pile up to my waist is how big that is. Because that's victim shaming. And it's not that I'm a victim, you guys. I don't feel victimized by this time frame. But that's telling someone who's experiencing something that they're so weak they're experiencing it. Let me tell you something, peoples. I am not a weak person when it comes to the spiritual. This is just a lot, you guys. So I'm sharing this with you. So if you're somebody out there and you're like, well, Danielle Egnew seems to be pretty on top of things and she seems like she's got it going on. I too am feeling a giant 200 below 0 degree wedge right into my head with the chaos. So please don't shame yourself if you are struggling. Please don't say, oh, what's the matter with me? I mean, my guru is fine. No, your guru's not fine. Unless, I'm not suggesting I'm the guru here, by the way, just making that clear. But if you have someone you follow online, and I'm going to ask you what you think about this in a second, Rebecca. If you have somebody that you follow online, and they are like, all we need to do is just look at the world and imagine a better place. Click your heels together 3 times and wish yourself into a beautiful environment. Can you see the unicorn? Can you pet the unicorn? Can you eat the ice cream that's come out of the unicorn bum that's beautiful and full of rainbows? Guys, that is awesome if there are those of you that need that to cope right now. I am not making fun. Well, I'm kind of making fun, but I'm not being mean about it. I'm saying that there are those out there who don't know how to balance this need to focus on something positive and then going into a flat wall of denial that's 1,000 feet tall. So, Rebecca, what has been your take as a fitness pro and as someone who has studied a lot of emotionality in the body with only dealing with part of what's going on in your environment and not the rest of it? How does that manifest itself in the body?
Oh, if you're only acknowledging parts
of your life,
yeah, it'll show up in in your physical form, some way, somehow, And again, it's going to be different for every person. So some people hold extra weight because they're not dealing with something. Some people develop illnesses and diseases. Some people develop chronic coughs and and bronchial issues or acid reflux, or it's been scientifically studied and then proven that if we don't deal with spiritual and emotional stuff, it will show up physically in our body. And if we continue to disregard the physical, the emotional and spiritual side of things, those physical things that you're feeling get worse and worse and worse to get your attention. It happens. It's happened to me. I have seen it happen in my client base. And once you acknowledge, if you can start acknowledging all sides of things, then you can then deal with it.
So what you're talking about is balance.
Well, yeah.
So we're talking about balance, you guys, and it doesn't mean you can't be positive and look on the bright side of things. I mean, for the most part, I do too. Mm-hmm. Yet I'm also very, very realistic. That's not the right word. I don't even like that word, because my idea of reality and your idea, Rebecca, and Joe Blow's and Jane Doe's are all going to be different. I can acknowledge events. Mm-hmm. I can acknowledge events. You can acknowledge events. And I do not have to draw those events into my body. I can acknowledge them. I think here's where the discipline can come in. And the ritual that we're talking about, I'll throw out a ritual that I have. I'll share a ritual I have. So I have cut back wildly on my time on social media. For right now, I'm doing some other things. I'm writing some things. I'm putting some things out there, because the collective energy in social media is not great. Like, even when, are you on Blue Sky? Did you go over to Blue Sky from X? Did you? No, you didn't.
I've never been on X and Twitter or any of it. I don't participate in any of those.
Okay. So Blue Sky is like a Twitter, or a former Twitter, not like X. And Blue Sky is a social media platform. Mm-hmm. And everybody ran from X over to Blue Sky and is like, oh, thank goodness. Oh, it's so nice over here. Oh, all the nice people are here. And immediately started posting the most toxic stuff you could possibly imagine. Yeah. And I'm like, wow. And, and it's because, you guys, as human beings, we have a need to, wouldn't you agree? We have a need to reflect our horror or share it.
Well, we have a need to share it, but then also pull people into it so that we're not alone in it.
Talk about that.
Well, there you go. I mean,
we're human.
Human nature is to not be alone. That we're not built to be alone. We are communal creatures. We are herd creatures. We are meant to have our people around us, and if we are feeling alone in something, we are going to draw attention to something to pull people in. And social media is actually the perfect platform to do that. Yeah. And it's not just X and Blue Sky and Twitter, but it's all of it. Anywhere where you can post, what you're feeling and your fears and everything, you will pull people to you to commiserate with you. So you feel, there's, we are,
tribal, communal. We want to just be able to share.
Yes.
Because it's less scary if we're not the only person feeling that way.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying I haven't gone on social media and voiced my opinion and vented, because I sure have. I try not to do that because it really doesn't help things. However, what I would reflect here is that if with the amount of people writing to me saying, how do I balance out how I feel in this time frame with what is necessary in this time frame, with what is going on in this, how do I balance all of this out? From Rebecca Douglas here, number 1, have some sort of ritual. That you adhere to every day. And number 2, make it physical in some way if you potentially could.
If you could, yeah. And physical, again, I'm going to say this. You do not have to do a hardcore workout. This is not a fitness talk. This is about like the human body. Talk. Well, yeah, the human body was meant to move. Even if you are limited in your mobility, there are still things that you can do to move the energy, to move the spiritual side of things, to move your brain, your thought process, everything. It could, and you have to find what works for you.
Chair Tai Chi. I actually saw this
There you
online.
go.
Chair Tai Chi. Because I have a lot of clients who have injuries. They have knee, hips, back. They can't go, foot injuries. They can't go walking around the block. I mean, even take a walk around the block, right? But right now in Montana, there's 2.5 feet of snow and it's really cold and windy. So that's kind of a hard walk around the block, but you could do it. But Chair Tai Chi, it's just moving energy.
Chair yoga.
Chair
I
yoga.
mean, I taught chair yoga at a retirement community for a couple of years. I mean, it's actually quite effective. So it's more than anything, the intention behind setting something up and then the consistency of following through on a regular basis, whether it's every day or every other day, or if it's a weekly something. The consistency and intention behind what you decide you want to do is absolutely paramount right there. So start with the intention, experiment if you're not quite sure what's going to work for you. And once you find the things or the thing that works for you, make it a non-negotiable. There you go.
So so I'm going to throw you a scenario. Rebecca Douglas, you're now in the hot seat. I
wasn't before.
Okay. Right. This is a hotter seat.
Okay.
Even though the seat she's in is a Victorian red velvet parlor chair, sitting chair, that she will not let me put anywhere else in the house because she calls them
French horde chairs.
What do you call them?
French horde chairs.
That's correct. Yes. So they are down in my studio because they are awesome. Leave my French chairs alone. So I'm going to throw you in the French hot seat here. I'm a single mom and I've got 1 or 2 children at home and maybe one of them's a handful and I'm working all the time and I've got 1 or 2 kids that are a handful. And I'm so damn tired, I can't even see straight. Or maybe I'm a married person and my spouse, whoever that spouse is so high maintenance or so needy, or I've created a codependent environment for that spouse. And I've now realized, oh, holy crap, I've invented a monster here, but now I'm kind of in it to win it. So what am I doing? What would be a recommendation for even 10 minutes that person could do for themselves throughout the day, and where could they potentially fit it in? Because we're talking moving the body. Now, this is obviously people, going to have to pick their druthers on the movement, but what would you suggest?
Well, you're going to have to pull up your big girl panties and maybe
or big boy panties.
Or big boy panties. And you could potentially set your alarm 10, 15, 20 minutes earlier before your household wakes up and do something for yourself. And I can hear everybody screaming, I don't want to get a lack of sleep anyway, and I don't get enough of sleep anyway, and why would I want to do that? Well, sometimes taking care of yourself takes a lot of grit. It takes a lot of grit and decisiveness to go, okay, I'm not asking for a lot, but I'm asking for an extra 10 minutes up by myself. And sometimes that means I have to get up earlier, or that means turning the TV off at night and doing 10 minutes of something for yourself before you go to bed when the household is asleep. It's setting boundaries with the people in your life. And I was a single mom with a kid. I had 1 kid, and running a new business and scraping together my pennies to fill the car and to pay my rent and to feed my child. And it was a daily struggle. And I know a lot of people out there can relate to that.
And didn't you actually at one time, weren't you living in your workspace for a little while?
Yeah, I was homeless. Yeah. Yeah, because I couldn't afford an apartment and the workspace. And the workspace was the intent was to grow so that I can create a life for myself and my daughter, which we did eventually. But yeah, I had to do the hard thing. And she and I lived in the back of my studio for a little while before things changed. But
So when you're in that environment, now granted you were teaching fitness classes too, but that's again about for other people. That's not about you.
No.
That's about your clients who would come in. So how did you carve time? So picture this, everybody. You've got this studio space. You got a little place you're living in there. You got this big gym out front. You got this child. You're getting her off to school. She's primary age. How did you make time between that and, oh God, now my doors are open at 5:30 in the morning and here come my clients?
Well, I was fortunate enough to have some free time throughout the day between like the classes that I was teaching.
So if I work a 9-to-5 job, I could take a little bit of 10 minutes of my lunch.
Well,
maybe.
legally you have to have a lunch. So not all of us take a lunch.
I was going to say, what about the salary folks though?
Okay, well, the salary folks, they get typically a 15-minute break, to smoke or pee or whatever. I mean, there's
smoke or pee.
Or both.
Take your pick. You only get one. Smoke or pee.
I mean, there's
okay. Wait. There needs to be a book written. Smoke or pee, the new America.
Oh God.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy at all, guys.
I'm just asking what you did.
What I did
Yeah, what did you do?
There were times when the only thing that I could do is lose myself in a good book for 5 minutes before I fell asleep, honestly. But the intention behind this is what I have to do to reset myself so I could do this again that was the intention behind it. And
so the physical act was literally picking up a book.
Correct.
And reading it.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to go back to my comment. It's not always about a hardcore workout. It's about the intention behind doing something for yourself, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes, to reset yourself so you can get back out there and do it again the next day.
Yeah.
That's it.
And the one thing I would I admire you, obviously. I'm married to you. I admire you in so many intense and acute ways because you have a lot of strengths that I do not have. And one of them is you have this ability to, I can be incredibly consistent in work bubbles, yet for myself, for my health, for my this, for my that, I'm wildly inconsistent because I tend to put my work in front of that. I will put my, and this is nothing about you. You don't do anything to make me do this, Rebecca, but I tend to put my family out there first. I tend to put duties out there first. I was raised Italian by Catholic people, so it's always about whoever else.
Yeah, serving others. And most women, to some degree, girls are raised to be the caregiver, to take care of other people before they take care of themselves. And at least, and I can only speak from the female perspective. Again, I haven't tried the whole guy thing yet, so I don't know how to speak from a guy perspective. But from women, we have to, I think we're slowly getting on board with, oh, holy cow, I have to take care of myself. I can't keep going on giving everything away to other people, regardless of who they are, unless I'm gonna just burn out. I have to take care of myself, or I'm signing myself up for a really miserable existence. And honestly, to be brutally honest, we have to start taking care of ourselves. And I'm not saying take an entire, 5 hours every day just for yourself. That'd
be awesome if you can, but
yeah, that'd be awesome if we can. But most of us are not those people. We have families. We have to feed our kids. We have to go earn a paycheck. We've got to pay the bills. But we got to figure out a way to squeeze in a little bit of time that feeds our soul, to feed our body, to feed our emotional self. And again, there's so many ways you can do that. And some of that also is learning how to use our voice and set boundaries with those people in our lives so that we can get those 5 and 10 minutes.
And so people, I can hear you guys. I don't have 5 or 10 minutes. Guys,
we all have 5 or 10 minutes. Sorry,
often,
ladies. I'm sorry.
It's true.
We do.
How many times do we take 10 minutes and fart around on Facebook or whatever?
Yeah.
And it was very interesting this thing about Facebook, and this is for another podcast, but I've had to go on for one or two things into my messenger because I had some business messages. But overall, the ether in there is, even if you screen out all the people that don't believe what you don't believe or whatever, you can make the biggest fishbowl you want. People are still struggling right now. And so people are asking about the struggle. And the thing about that is that I do believe that we should be there to help people out, guys. What I also believe is we can get saturated through the air, through the electromagnetic medium of energy with this stress and chaos. And I started to say earlier, Rebecca, that, Project 2025 is maniacally and brilliantly written because it is here to overwhelm. And I think we all know that that's what's going on. And when we are overwhelmed, we shut down. And when we shut down, we go to the easiest common denominator. And what is that? Scrolling. So we start scrolling and then
we're watching TV. Yep.
Yeah. And then we're overwhelmed all over again because where we go because we're shut down is shutting us down.
Yeah.
And so it's really a brilliant way to disable those you disagree with by defeating the army that you would see like the others. If we other people, the others will be defeated by their own lack of energy and morale because they've mentally tired themselves out because of this chaos. That is the basis. That is the psi warfare of demoralization. That's what it is. And so if we're going to be effective human beings for ourselves in this time frame, if you are called to social or civic action, if you are called to volunteer at your school or volunteer down at a retirement home, if you are called to do anything, then make sure that you are in a space where, again, you're being present in your community and your life. You are making a ritual for yourself every day, even if it's picking up a book. I would highly recommend doing something to move the chi of the body also. So maybe some chair yoga or some chair tai chi if you're just too emotionally worn out to actually take a walk or do anything else, or you have mobility issues. Mm-hmm. But be present in this incarnation, you guys, because if we're not present, then we're going to end up being way around the outside of the bend, and nobody's going to be able to help anybody do anything at that point because we're down a rabbit hole. So I have had some folks who are actually, Rebecca, kind of mad at me right now because I'm not on Facebook. And I got some really, I can't even call them passive aggressive. They were desperately aggressive inboxes from some people who were just like, you don't understand. We count on you. You can't just disappear. You can't just go away because we count on you. And this is irresponsible as a leader. And I'm like, whoa, now you guys, I've never asked anybody to go to this page every day and read things. I appreciate that people think I have something to offer. However, if we are putting any one person in our world and giving that person that much power over how we are able to center, then we're missing the exercise of being in this body. And again, you guys know I love helping everybody center and all the things. Yet all of us need to be working on quality ritual and centering time so that we can be better help to those who are out there. And the minute I saw this response from people, this aggressive, desperation, my heart kind of broke. And I thought, God, I have been doing a crappy job maybe of assisting people to understand how they can help themselves here. And I'm all for, I have my go-to people. And actually one of my go-to people online that I would always go to people as my go-to person, I've even cut back going to, because that person is Heather Cox Richardson. And that person's job is to encapsulate current events and cross-collateralize it with history so that we can clearly understand what's happening. But I've had to take a little bit of a break from that because it is such a crap show out there right now that every single day under the Project 2025 banner is just begging to be engaged with in the most dysfunctional way possible. And the reason I drug you on today, kicking and screaming, no, that's not really true. She was cool. Fine, yeah. She's like, you're going to make me sit in that French chair? God. But the reason that I brought you on today is because I think we're forgetting that there are battles going on right now, energetically and spiritually, that have been waging in this environment before we were ever on the earth. Mm-hmm. And yes, we need to walk a delicate balance between tuning out and acting like everything's fine. And I'll be honest with you guys, everything is not fine. And it's not going to automatically be fine. Does love win in the end? Well, sure. But the human race is completely optional in all of that. So our participation in how we choose to ground and how we choose to be present and how we choose to put our love out there and how we choose to protect our hearts. And I do say protect, not from like a scared way, but I mean, it's a little irresponsible to think that in any environment there is not a toxin. So I think it's important to be good stewards of our energy, ourselves, our minds, and our bodies. And you were talking about boundaries, Rebecca. And so I think for some people, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, that might be limiting our eyeball intake, our verbal intake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe we have some dear people in our life that we love and we're not going to shut out of our lives because they're family or they're friends, but maybe we can just simply steer conversations away from highly disturbing stuff that nobody can do anything about right now.
Or choosing not to comment on something if you feel you're triggered in a fear. Like, don't comment, don't participate. Like, acknowledge what you're feeling. Yeah, we're all fearful of things, of what's going on in the world right now, but to choose not to actively participate in that and just stepping away, don't feed the monster.
Well, and that's the hard part because we simultaneously want to be part of that tribal community that you talked about previously,
sure,
to know that we have those who are in our same boat of fear.
But I'm going to be brutally honest right now.
Okay, here we go, people. Oh, God.
This is my Taurus coming out. Social media is not our tribe. Our tribe is our family, our spouses, the people that we choose to hold dear to us in our physical presence. Social media is not our tribe. Social media is a platform to vent, to be, to support or be bullies. It is a platform to be heard and wag our fingers and tell people that we're right or they're wrong. And I mean, that is the platform. That's what it was designed for. Well, no, it was designed actually to bring people closer together. And it was an experiment that went horribly, horribly wrong. And there's some great aspects. Like, I'm getting great landscaping ideas right now for our new yard because of Instagram. But I have had to actively work on choosing things that I am commenting on or liking and stuff, so that the godforsaken algorithm will only show me the things that make me happy and bring me joy. Like, the more I pause on things that are triggering me, or comment on things that are triggering me, or continue to follow people that are triggering me, it's going to bring more of that crap into my life. And those are some of those boundaries. You have to remember, you guys, social media is not your tribe. Those are not your people. Okay? Find the people in your life. We have lost the ability to look at somebody in the eye and say, you're one of my people. Let's go create something amazing. Let's have a conversation. Let's go for a walk. Let's ground ourselves and be silly and lay in the grass with our cup of coffee in the morning. That is what we're talking about. But the social media crap, and again, I've got so many swear words over my head right now.
I'm sure it's fascinating. I just have to say.
It is literally going to be the demise of our democracy, in my opinion.
Amen. Amen. I'm just going to give a moment of silence. Yes, that's how drop that microphone.
Sorry.
No, do not ever apologize for telling the truth. Social media, you guys, we've got to watch our response. And I'm going to be brutally honest for just a minute. I am so tired of listening to everybody talk about AI like it's an independent phenomenon that thinks for itself. Even the sort of kind of barely sentient AI that is out there, you guys, is born of the reflection of our most repetitive moments. Mm-hmm. Think about it. It's a parrot.
Yeah.
So when we say things like, oh, the AI, what you might as well be saying is, oh, the prattling human consciousness, because that's what it is. And we assign away our power to the prattling human consciousness. It's like thinking the echo in the canyon is going to rule us. You guys, it came from our voice first. I don't know if you've ever been in a canyon lately. We're here in Montana in the Priors, and there's tons of canyons. The Bighorn Canyon, one of the most majestic canyons in America. And you get up there and you start laying, hello, when you hear hello, hello, hello. That'd be like me saying, Danielle, I'm mad at you. And then hearing back, Danielle, I'm mad at you. And going, oh my God, the canyon's so mad at me. It's AI. I mean, that's insane. It came from me. Okay? So in the same way, guys, we've got to get back in our bodies. And I'm not suggesting we totally go offline. That's not realistic for our world.
Right.
However, as you spoke, Rebecca, we do not need to be throwing our pearls out there in front of wherever. And it doesn't mean block everybody. And it doesn't, I mean, sometimes there's a lot of people I've had to unfollow. I haven't necessarily, there's a couple people I've blocked because they've gotten their mental issues there and a lot of aggressiveness with those mental issues. But I've unfollowed people whose messaging is not consistent with my grounding practices. Now, I just want to give a quick story here. I'm looking at the time. We're coming up on the end of our podcast. We're right at the end of our podcast, so I'm going to give a very, very quick story here. There's a fine line to be had between everything that we've been talking about and getting too detached and living in a la-la land to the point where there's an apathy about what's happening and whatever you got to do to get by, man, it's your life. Yet I had a colleague of mine through Facebook who decided to call me out because they felt like I was not doing my job. And this all came about from me saying, guys, I'm going to take a brief, I even said it on Facebook, I'm going to take a brief Facebook break because I'm working on some other writing. And quite frankly, since I've been off of Facebook and not writing things on Facebook, the other writing in my life has exploded.
It's genius. I'm just saying it. It's genius.
Oh, thank you, honey. Yeah. That's nice. So but I'm also not chronically trying to put a piece of gum on this giant earthquake-sized hole in the side of a Spanish frigate that's sinking. I mean, and Facebook, it's like you're taking these little pieces of gum and trying to plug a hole 9 times bigger than that, and it uses all of your energy. And I'm not saying I won't ever do that again. But really quickly back to this individual who writes to me through Facebook and tells me that I'm a fake, I'm a phony, I'm a fraud. Because if I really was a lefty, if I really was a liberal, if I really was a thought leader and a spirit leader, I wouldn't be abandoning everybody and I would be back in the fray with everybody. And I looked at this person psychically, and what I saw is somebody who feels like they're very alone and they're very angry, and they too are a thought leader in their area. And I never even responded, because there was so much anger and rage at everything. And I just became the kick point for that. But what it made me think of was this. If I am to truly be a thought leader, if I am truly this leader person that people keep claiming I am, which, okay, whatever, you guys, I kind of see myself as elbow to elbow with everybody else at the bar here, but I keep getting this messaging that apparently people see me in that position, leadership or thought leadership or whatever. If I really am this person, then the best thing I can do is show people through my actions of what would be a more productive way to go forward in this situation, not going back into the same shit show and having the same meltdowns that are adding to Project 2025's main points. It's
a classic example of showing, like, doing more than just speaking, but also your actions are showing people how to set boundaries.
Like you with,
there you go.
Thank you. Like you with, I'm going to go ahead and put myself through 2 years. And you guys, it was hellish when you did that bodybuilding thing. It was the most grueling, awful. I felt it was kind of dehumanizing. You were able to kind of compartmentalize that physical experience and go into the physicality of it. I was like, what the I would never do that. But I'm not you. I'm not as tough as you are in certain areas. So in this same way, though, it's what I did. I ran for mayor in 2017 of Billings, Montana, to demonstrate a different way we could run in politics.
And people, even your not competitors, your other
Well,
people.
they
said that you ran, they really appreciated how you ran.
Yeah, because we all just sat around and talked and laughed about how tired we all were and what a hell of a thing it was. And, we weren't backbiting and, there's different ways to do it. But what I'm trying to put out here, guys, is I am nobody special at all. I walk around, you know what I do every day? You know what I'm proud of doing? I'm proud of going into every day and being as kind as I possibly can. And that doesn't mean being nice. And that doesn't mean taking it up the tailpipe when I shouldn't. It means that I choose kindness as best as I can. And some days, if I'm really not able to choose much kindness, you know what I do? I choose less engagement. That's what I do.
Love that. Mic drop. Boom.
Because my wife can tell you. Thank you, babe. Mm-hmm. My wife can tell you I got lots of big words and lots of big opinions and a lot of energy behind that sometimes.
Just a little bit.
And if I cannot be part of the solution, what I can do is choose not to be part of the problem in that moment.
There you go. I love it. Yep.
And so what I do, I'm reading Stephen King.
Love it.
And I plunge myself into the Dark Tower series, which is kind of a tough read right now. I'm only on book 2 and it's kind of slogging, but I'm going to get through it.
Right. But that's part of your personal ritual of how to just take care of yourself. But you're also writing brilliant stuff right now.
Thank you.
So...
And it feels good, guys. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm a better channel for the universe writing these books, and I'm working on something that I'm not going to disclose quite yet. But it's all of this letting the universe, let God be God through you. Let God be God through you. And remember that you're part of something larger than yourself. And go ahead and do your social media stuff. I'm not saying it's the devil. I think the devil works through it. I think darkness works through anything. I think the church is one of the biggest places darkness works through.
I think we have to be very intentional when we're on social media. If we don't want to be a part of the problem, if we want to take care of ourselves, you have to be very intentional.
And your echo in the canyon has been exterior landscaping design. That's your...
Yep.
How to build a fire pit. Hey, look at AI brought me a fire pit. So you guys, we're a little over time here, but Rebecca, I really want to thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was fun.
It was fun. Got to have you on more often. And I do want to just, before we go here, I do want everybody to keep your eye on rmaea.com. That's Rocky Mountain Academy of Energetic Arts.com for the class that Rebecca and I are going to be co-teaching called Managing the Midlife Conundrum, which is going to get into far deeper details, nutrition for empaths, movement for empaths, actually mind, body, spirit.
All for like the midlife, like for all you people out there who are in their midlife going, what the heck is going on?
Why do I feel non-relevant?
Yes, exactly.
What's going on with my energy?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about all that, and not going to say we have all the answers, but we at least have some guidance in our own experiences and what has worked for my clients and ourselves and people that we know.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's a class, we are going to talk about women's hormones or whatnot. If there's fellas that want to join, that's fine. You're going to have to just kind of bear with some of the hormonal chat. But guys, you have hormones too.
Oh, yeah, they go through a
fall
midlife
back.
Thing. Yep.
Heck, you do. And I feel, gentlemen, I'm going to just give you a quick nod here. That I would like to say that nobody ever talks about the hormonal stuff you guys go through. And I hope to God we can clear this kind of more, if you want to call it a more toxic time frame in how we deal with gender, the masculine being one of it. You guys deserve every bit as much discussion of the stuff that happens with your hormones too. So, so hopefully we'll get the world, strategized around, but keep your eye open because we're going to be starting this class when, Rebecca?
May. Early May.
Yeah. So keep your eyes open, guys. You can enroll at rmaea.com. Rebecca, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
You are very welcome. That was fun.
It was fun. I'm going to have you on again, okay?
All right. Got it.
And you're going to have to
You know where to find me.
I do. You're going to have to sit in the chair.
That's okay.
Have you made peace with the chair?
I'm with peace, yes, with the chair.
Okay.
It's actually quite comfortable.
I know, right? I love these freaking chairs. All right, everybody, thank you so much, and we will see you next podcast.